here and we are miracles. And every single experience that we have, we should be in awe of it. Are you willing to persist and stay the course in the attainment of what you desire, even if it takes longer than you thought? Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? I'm so excited to see everyone. I am coming to you today live from Malibu, California, and watching that video, I started to tear up as I sat here watching it. So I'm just gonna compose myself for a moment. This event is an emotional one, not just for me, but for every single member of this team. And I know several of the clients that are a part of our community are really resonating right now with this focus and attention on building a legacy. And it is such a beautiful way to step outside of kind of the everyday and step into, it's almost like transcending a new quest or mission or vision for yourself and making it have so much more meaning that it just becomes so much easier to stay the course. Many people, I want to see all your faces. I can only see myself and I don't like that. When so many people decide that they're going to go after what they want, they're going to go after their dreams, they're going to achieve big things, they're going to do it. What ends up happening is they end up getting to a point where there's a bump in the road or it appears like a door has closed. And then what happens is we just turn our back on it and we say, okay, not today. It wasn't meant to be. It's not going to happen. And what I really hope over the course of these next 2 days is that you realize that that thing that you're wanting, that goal, that vision that you so much want to create for yourself and for your family, is actually God wanting it through you. It's Spirit speaking through you in the quest of you, doing that is God's work. And all of the work that is done here on the physical 3D plane, all of the manifestations, the creations, the inventions, they are all in the advancement of humanity and humankind. And so this event over the next 2 days, Legacy, we're going to talk about that. And, it's not to say that we don't want to build a life for ourselves. We do. But we understand that we become better by the service that we provide to others. Neil Donald Walsh talks about that in Happier Than God. He talks about how we really step into a higher level version of ourselves. We become the best of ourselves. He doesn't use that language, but I do. And you do this through the service that you provide others. So the more people that I'm able to help, the more I'm going to grow as an individual. And so the really cool thing about that then is we understand that personal growth and development is the key. It is the key to helping others, changing the world, shifting the global consciousness, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And do you notice how I'm talking about personal growth and development of myself, of you, of my team, et cetera? But it's through the service to many. And that means that we can't just go within and be within and stay within and never interact with outside. It's inevitable, but it's what are we going to do and in what way are we going to do it? So I wanted to tell you real quickly why I decided to come to Malibu. This is really good learning for anybody who wants to get a little like sneak peek into my mind and how I work with manifesting. And so what I do is I make a decision of something that I desire or want in life, and what that would mean for me, what that would mean for my family, and then what that would mean in turn for the service of many. So for example, I would love one day, absolutely love one day to live in Malibu. And it was one of those things that I talked about, kind of put it on the back burner, maybe 10 years. I don't know. Lisa, you're killing me with that baby. That is the cutest thing ever. Oh my gosh. Hi, cutie. I love it. Isn't that so perfect for what I'm talking about right now? Leaving a legacy. I think that's your grandbaby, right? Yeah. That's so fun. But it's really about understanding that by me desiring to live in Malibu and me desiring to build that life for myself, I'm assisting many people in many different ways through that. So in order for me to live in Malibu, there's a certain number of people that I need to help in order to do that. But the other piece of that is too, though, is by me going after my dreams and me moving something into the physical form with ease and with grace and in a way of confidence and love for myself, I'm actually able to impact other people to see, hey, I can do that too. And so if nobody's out doing those things, it becomes this thing that is really, really hard to do, completely unattainable, and we don't even ever think it's possible. When I was in my younger years, when Chris and I first got married, I remember we did this road trip out to the mountains, and we talked about what would we do if we won the lottery? What would we do with the money? And we started talking about it, and we had all these dreams of these houses and these trips we would go on and the cars and how much we would donate here and how we would help our families in this way. And it was like, oh, this is so great. But all the while, the entire discussion was just like, yeah, that'll never happen. Like that was the underlying tone. It was literally like a dream that was never going to be a reality. And so what I hope that you guys see through me, through the work that we do here at Diamond Academy, through these live events, any of our courses, or whatever it is that you decide that you want to fill your soul up with, I hope you see that those things don't have to be a dream that stay in the future, that they literally can be something that is available to you right now, but it just requires that you think differently than you are today. That you be a different version, that you feel different. I want to read to you this morning a quote I found, the definition of legacy that I found that I resonate with. There's so many definitions, but this one meant something so powerful to me. A legacy is an interconnection across time with a need for those who have come before us and a responsibility to those who come after us. Wow, right? So even when I first thought legacy, I immediately thought of my kids, and I immediately thought of like, okay, leaving a legacy for my kids. I never thought about all of the legacies that were left behind before me. Like I never considered the fact that my life today is the way that it is because of those that came before, and they left legacies. You want me to read it again? Of course. I'm also going to post it to my social today, so you'll see it. An interconnection across time with a need for those who have come before us and a responsibility to those who come after us. Now, I want us to even expand our view a little bit more about this, the responsibility to those who come after us. The reason I want you to go a little bit further with this is because it's not just our kids. It's not just our grandkids that we're influencing. It's generations upon generations upon generations. It's people outside of your family. It's friends, it's colleagues, it's clients, it's acquaintances. And every single person, there is a ripple of the legacy that you leave behind. And so why I think this material and what I teach and the way in which I teach it is so impactful and so powerful is because it transforms people. It transforms everything about them, their thoughts, their feelings, their actions, the way they engage in the world, the way in which they pursue or don't pursue something, And I think about staying small, this idea of staying small, and why do we do that? And if we think about a legacy, would we have wanted the people that have come before us, the generations that have come before us, to have stayed small? Like, would we have wanted them to not try to fly in the airplane, to not invent electricity, to not create the internet that we're now using so lovingly here on Zoom? The person who created Zoom, I don't know, amazing. They just had a windfall past couple of years. So truly though, it's the people that have a responsibility, that are aware of the responsibility to pass on a legacy, that really step out of their comfort zone and do things that are extraordinary. I say extraordinary because it's out of the ordinary, and step into a greater purpose, vision, or mission for this world. And I give you examples of people that have created amazing things, their inventions, but it doesn't have to be that way. These are just the ones that we all know. But there are people every single day creating legacies for themselves, for their families, for generations to come, for the world, over and over and over and over and over again. And they're willing to get uncomfortable for the sake of others. This is what I always say with Diamond Academy, is that, one of the things that I'm so proud of is that we study ourselves continuously, because we know that when we are the best of ourselves, we create an impact that transcends time. We leave an imprint on history. I love it so much. And when I think about all the other manifestation teachers that are coming up, I've been doing this now for 3 years. When I first started 3 years ago, when I first started teaching manifestation, I wouldn't even have called it that. I would have called it mindset back then. But when I first called myself a manifestation coach, it was like nobody knew what that word meant. It was like, what are you talking about, girl? And it was like so out there and so unusual. But now hashtag manifestation on TikTok is one of the highest searched hashtags. There are so many coaches coming up, and I think that it is fabulous and it is wonderful and it is amazing. And the reason why is because the more of us that are helping others through this material, the more the impact on humanity is, the bigger the legacy is. So once these non-dominant paradigms become the dominant paradigms, this is when we shift the world. So instead of the top 3%, we have the top 97%. Like, let's just literally flip the switch on this. And it's happening. It's happening right now. It's happening before your eyes. And now the legacy requires the feminine energy. It doesn't require more of the masculine. We're used to that. Okay. We taught that we need to do a lot of things to achieve success. We need to work hard. We need to hustle. We need to grind. We need to stay up late. We need to have multiple jobs. We need to have side hustles. We need to have multiple streams of income. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. But are you noticing that's shifting now? COVID was such a beautiful time for all of us because we realized, wow, I have been so much in the do that I have not been present. I have not been here. And so all of us just had to let and be with our families and be with our friends, not go to work or work from home, depending on what you did. And so now people are seeking the ways in which they can create the life that they desire, the legacy that they want. We're not dulling down our visions, but we want to do it in a way that feels beautiful. We want to be in a place where we want to be. We want to work with the people we want to work with. We want to study ourselves. We want to meditate. We want to visualize. We want to journal. We want to be, and we want to love ourselves in the process. This is one of my favorite things, is love ourselves in the process. And so right now, the feminine energy is starting to emerge. And you think I'm talking about women. There is a lot more women, yes, in this space, but I mean feminine energetics. I mean being in the spirit. Spirituality is feminine. Peak performance is masculine. So when you take spirituality and meets peak performance, you have a balance between the two. And that's where you can really move yourself forward in life in a beautiful way. So we will have less burnout. We will have less disorganized thinking. We will have less of the collective consciousness doing things that we just can't understand, like crime and violence and war and et cetera, et cetera. So I really do believe through this material, through studying yourself, through becoming the best of yourself, that is the way to make an impact. This is the way to create a legacy. So those that came before us did this, and now we have a responsibility to do it. And doesn't that kind of make it give you a little bit of perspective? Then it's like, well, why am I not doing it? Oh, because I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. Oh, my body is too big. I'm too short. I don't have enough education. I'm not beautiful enough. It's like, really? Does any of that really have anything to do with your ability to create a legacy? No, it's just learned. You can hear the waves. They're literally right here. Like, it's amazing. I'm not looking out there because every time I look outside, there's dolphins. And then I get distracted and I start screaming about the dolphins. Yeah. It's happened to me twice now on Zoom where I'm like, oh, dolphins. And then I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm in the middle of something. Yeah. Listen, I get so excited for things. I just like, that will never ever get old to me. This view will never get old to me. I am in awe of it every single day. And it's so beautiful when you look at life in this lens. You know, I had somebody reach out to me a few weeks ago and they said, okay, Kathleen, you're living a great life. You have money now, you have a business, you're not slugging it in the hospital anymore in your scrubs. Like, of course you're happy. Of course you have gratitude. Like, you know, I'll never be able to experience that because I'll never have the money. I'll never have. And it was so interesting. It was such an interesting perspective because you don't know my journey. You don't know the things that have happened. You don't know the things that I've had to overcome. You don't know the resilience that I've had to have. You don't know how much I used to really, really hate my life and hate myself. And in order for me to move to a place where I am now living in gratitude, I had to let go of that. And I had to let go of any belief that people are happy because of the things that they have. If you think your happiness is tied to material things, you are wrong. Because you can get the material things and you can still be very sad. You can still feel unworthy. You can still be not good enough. You can still hate your body, etc., etc., etc. And so what we want to do is we want to change your experience of life right now. Somebody sent me a really great video the other day. It was only like 12 minutes long, but the one message that I pulled from it that was so good is that everybody wants to right the world. We want to make the world right. We want to change it. We want to fix the world. But all we need to do is have the right thinking, change our perception, change our view of the world. And that's how the world changes. So let's not manipulate the 3D physical world. Let's start from within and change how we see it all. And then the experience of it immediately changes. And then this is how you then expand and grow. And this is how you grow your business. This is how you grow your faith, your love, fix your relationships, make more money. Because you write your thinking first. Yeah, it's really beautiful. So what we're going to do today is we are going to be here until about 12 o'clock. I'm going to teach for a while. We're going to do some interviews. We are going to do an activity for 10 minutes this time, which I'm really, really excited about. We're actually going to have you do some journaling, some writing today with me right on here. And then we have some homework. Okay. Now this homework exercise, it really means a lot to me. And I think it's going to mean a lot to you. So when we get to the end, I'm going to tell you why I chose this homework. Because I put myself through an exercise and it immediately changed me. And I'm going to put you guys through the same exercise today. And then we'll do it tonight and we'll post it before tomorrow. Everything is recorded, Angela. It's streaming to YouTube right now. So the replays will always be on YouTube immediately, but they will also be sent out to you via email. So check your junk always. And we send out the replays after every day. We're going to do the same thing tomorrow. We're going to spend 2 hours together tomorrow morning again. And tomorrow morning, we're going to do a journaling exercise together again. But this time we're going to continue on and follow up with what we're going to do today. So don't just do one day. Like there is an exercise I'm going to guide you through this time. And I've never done that before. I've never guided you through an actual exercise of doing something on these live events, but I feel really called. I taught it to my millionaire students this week, really in depth, actually 2 weeks it took me to do it. So I'm going to give you a small snippet of it so you can at least take that away with you. And then Saturday, for those of you that are asking, Saturday is our VIP day. It's our Q&A day. I will be informal. I will have a nice matcha tea latte. Well, I do have one today anyway too, but I'll have a matcha tea latte with me. Maybe I'll even open the store and you can hear the waves even more so. And this is where we are going to talk about all things manifestation questions. If you want to go over anything that we talked about the past 2 days, and that's when we also talk about whatever programs we have open for enrollment to join the academy and to become a student with us. So I'm not going to talk about that these next 2 days. I always get questions during these 2 days, but I don't answer anything related to that until Saturday, okay? So that's what we're going to do. First thing I want to do today, the first thing that I want to talk about is I want to talk about some of the key things that I think are necessary in building a legacy. Okay. And if you don't have these things, I really think that you're going to be actually like, you know, when you're on a stationary bike and you're biking and you're biking and you're biking and you're actually not going anywhere and your legs are sore and you're sweating, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We literally don't want to be doing that. I don't think there's anything more frustrating than literally like hustling and grinding and working hard and not seeing anything come back. It's actually quite frustrating and quite annoying to have that experience in your life. We don't want to do that. So I'm going to tell you some of the things that I've implemented in my life that I think are an absolute must in order for you to create a legacy. So in order to create a legacy, you have to understand that history and time are things that will continue on past us. So time is really just an illusion. It's not really a thing, but the physical world, physical space will continue on and our generations will perpetuate. That's what I mean. So what's really, really important then is for you to be really, really resilient, persistent in the attainment of building this legacy so that you're not thrown off course, so that you stay the course. I have had things, you didn't see it too much in that introductory video, but I have had things that have been happening this past 3 years that literally would throw some people completely off the rails. Like train derailed. Okay, this needs a cleanup crew. But no, I'm like, we're not going there. We're just going to hop in a new train on a new direction and a new path, and we're just going to keep going. You know, I think about my surgery in May. It's been 6 months since my lung surgery in May. You know, you would not even know that I had such a close call in May, and my lungs took, you know, they say this surgery can take 6 months to a year for you to heal. I feel friggin' amazing. I feel fantastic. And it's because I have seen nothing but health. My focus has been nothing but health. I truly see myself as a vessel for this work. And now I treat my vessel like that. I treat my vessel like it's the most important thing that there is. And I do believe that, you know, spirit, my oneness, I do believe that my mind and my physical body all work together as one to create this whole version of myself. And there was this part of me that wasn't whole. And so as soon as I start focusing on health in January, I'm like, okay, January this year, I'm going to be healthy as Kathleen. Here we go. And then boom, I get sick with pneumonia and it goes outside the lungs and all this stuff happens. And it's like, okay, I get it. I'm here for it. It just means I'm on the right path. I was supposed to focus on this. Okay, good. So here we go. So some of the things that I wrote down, I was thinking about this morning when I was sitting here before you guys came on, and I was like, okay, what would I say would be the most important thing in creating a legacy? The most important thing, and this word that just keeps coming up for me over and over and over again, is faith. And I have it tattooed. I don't know if you guys can actually see it because of my shirt, but I got faith tattooed to me. Now, that word was not part of my vocabulary 3 years ago. It is not something I ever talked about. It is not something that I ever would have said that I have. It really had a different connotation for me. And so now the important thing I want you to know is that every single day, my goal is to have perfect faith. So if we don't have perfect faith, then what do we have? Doubts, worries, fears, right? And if we have doubts, worries, and fears, that's a feeling, that's a vibration, that's an energy. So if I'm always worried that something bad is going to happen, or I'm going to be worried that I'm not going to be successful, or I'm going to worry that something's not going to happen in my life that I really want to happen, I am vibrating in the energy of worry. And then what do I attract to me? The very thing that I'm worried about. Because it's by law, it's universal law. There's no other way. So for me, then, it's acting in perfect faith. So I wrote down here, where is it? So you've heard thought into form, right? People say thoughts are things. Manifestation is taking a thought and moving it into the physical form. I'm going to add to the end that manifestation is thought into form through faith. Okay? Like, I think that is super clear. You can't go wrong with that, because thought into form is like, oh, okay. But thought into form through faith is like, yes, I feel that. What is success? Success is faith expressed in action, right? So when you act in faith, it is very different than when you act in fear, when you act in worry, when you act in doubt. Totally different. So I am a huge Neville Goddard reader, and so if you have not read any Neville, I would highly suggest. But Neville always says you must act in the assumption of the wish fulfilled. He's talking about faith. You're acting in the assumption or the faith that the wish is fulfilled. So before you start the business that you've always wanted to have, if you start the business worried that it's not going to work, that it's not going to happen, that nobody's going to want to buy your products, yada, 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 then you are acting in the assumption of a wish fulfilled. The wish might not be what you actually want, but you are acting in an assumption of something. You have faith in something. You have faith that it's not going to happen, that it's not going to work, that it's not going to be successful. And I can't tell you which way you're at. I cannot sit here and say you're acting in the assumption that it's not going to work versus acting in the assumption that it is. I can't tell you that. This is an internal process. You have to tell yourself that. You have to know that. And you have to be really honest with yourself. If you sit here and you say, yes, I'm in absolute faith, I have perfect faith, and then nothing happens, the thing that you desire doesn't come into your physical form, you didn't have faith. Every time I do something with absolute faith, with perfect faith, it shows up every time. And this is why the little things show up for you, but the big things don't. The only difference between something you say is little and something you say is big is the meaning you give it, and you're using the law of relativity against yourself in this. Is you say it's big or small, and then when you say that it's big or small, it impacts your faith right away. You're like, oh, well, that's hard. I've never done that before. So then right away you're like, ooh, I don't know if I have faith in that. But people are always like manifesting coffees. Why can you have faith that you can manifest a coffee, but you can't have faith that you can manifest $1,000, $2,000, $10,000, $1 million? I was talking to one of our beautiful community members yesterday with Tanya Bergen, and her name is Ashley. And Ashley was telling me how she found me. And she was talking about an interview that she saw on YouTube where Bob was interviewing me on Paradigm Shift in 2020. And she said one of the things that impacted her the most and why she resonated so much with me was because when I was talking about my success and growth in my business, I think at that point it was about $700,000 I had done in my business in 6 months, 6.5 months, something like that. More money than I'd probably made in 10 years or more, literally in like 6 months. And he asked the question, did you ever doubt it? Did you ever worry that it'll go away or stop? And I was like, no. Like, I practiced what you preached, Bob, and I grew my faith, unwavering, knowing belief. Of course not. Like, holy cow, how can you even ask me that question? Like, that's kind of how I felt in that moment. Was like, no, I don't doubt it. No, I don't worry it'll go away. No, I don't think it will stop. Because I have faith. And so the other thing though is that suggestion from others can be really powerful. So that suggestion, him saying that, are you afraid that it's going to go away? Planting that seed, it sat with me for a couple of days. And then probably less than a week later, I had another gentleman say to me, said something along the lines of, well, when people first launch their business, they're really excited. They're in this launching energy. And so they'll do really, really well. And then they taper off. So let's see how you do. You know, he said that to me. And it was the second man in like a week that just said something about that it potentially could go away. Like, and in that moment, I noticed myself. And I noticed a little shift in my nervous system. I just noticed a shift in my energy. And I was like, ooh, I think that might be some doubt now coming up. And it was like, what am I going to do with this? I'm going to squash it. I'm going to grow my faith even more. I'm going to move into a place of knowing even more. I'm going to study. And I went, and I remember I pulled out the chapter on faith in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. I pulled out that book on faith and I read that chapter. Sorry, the book's not on faith. The chapter's on faith. And I read that a few times. And that's right around the time that I actually got Robert Russell's book, God Works Through Faith, and started reading that. Because I felt my faith now starting to waver. And so I intentionally studied faith so that I was super, super strong and powerful at it. We will post a book list for you guys of these books that I mentioned. So if somebody on the team can just keep track of them, because I won't remember what I said. Thank you. But this book, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, and this example that I just gave you was his legacy. He literally wrote a book that helped me, you know, how many years later, 90 years later, 100 years later, I think the book's over 100 years old. That chapter helped me in my life in a moment when I needed it the most. That's a legacy. So for all of those of you that are here that are like, ooh, I really would love to write a book one day. Write the book. Why aren't you? Even if it helps one person. Oh my gosh, that one person is so impacted by you. Isn't that amazing? And so you're leaving your legacy physically in print. I'm writing my book while I'm here. That's part of the reason I came, is to write my second book. And so much is coming through. I actually yesterday, anybody who's really been in a state of flow will get this. I was getting my hair done yesterday. I got a blowout done. And I was just chatting with the guy and he's like, what's your book about? And I just started talking to him. And then I go, hold please, sir. And I turned on my audio recorder and I just started recording myself talk to him. Because I was like, Spirit is speaking through me to you right now, sir, and I need to catch it. So I started recording myself. And I said something yesterday that was so beautiful. He said it to me. He's like, I don't think I've ever heard that before. That's so beautiful. Oh no, this was the guy at Whole Foods. This is a different guy, this one. I said that my new book is going to help you to become your limitless being. Your limitless being. Wow. Anyways, so good. But see how it's all coming out? It's all coming together. It's literally so incredibly important. The legacy that we leave, right, is so important. So we're going to work on that a little bit after the interviews. So don't worry. And I give you a little bit of work. The other thing that I wanted to talk about too, though, okay, so faith is so incredibly important. But I also really believe that it is very important for you to know yourself, okay? So many times I have wanted to be a different version of myself, even when I started this work. The Kathleen Cameron that I was, literally was not good enough. My personality, my body, my sense of humor, I was too sensitive. I took things too personal. I wasn't fun enough. I wasn't good enough of a comedian, whatever, 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 whatever. So I would always wish that I would be like her. And I say her because it was always somebody else. It didn't even matter who, it was just somebody else. I wish that I had this part of that person, and I had this part of that person, and this part of that person. And so I was always seeking to become a different version of myself. Even when I started studying this material and I started studying self-image, I did this exact same thing. I found all the things that were wrong with me, all the things that were wrong, and I decided I was going to write them and I was going to fix them so that I could be like someone else. I'm just going to be like her, and I'm going to be like her, and I'm going to be like her, and I'm going to be like them. And I actually, almost fell into this trap of, creating this whole self concept of myself, my perfect version of me. Once I create that perfect version of me, then I will create the life of my dreams. I will be successful. I will be liked. I will get recognition, yada, yada. And I remember writing it all out. And this was in 2019, September of 2019. I wrote out that I'm my healthiest version. I'm 150 pounds. I exercise daily. I have a fit body, and I'm strong, and I eat nutritious foods, and I have a personal trainer, and I wear like business suits, and I do my hair and my makeup all the time. I can actually go back and find that and read it. And it actually makes me like want to barf, because there was no Kathleen in there. There was no myself, me, who I am, what I like and what I don't like. It was just replacing all the things that I thought were wrong, that people for years told me were wrong, fixing them and making them right. And so for a time in my life, maybe that sort of work was helpful, but it's not anymore. Now it's about knowing myself. Who am I? What do I like? What don't I like? What am I judging? What am I making wrong that really isn't wrong at all? What do I have a little bit of me in that I can actually grow and foster into a more of that quality in me? How loving am I? How caring am I? How compassionate am I? What are the things that make me me? And how can I then rise in consciousness, not become a different person? It's not about becoming a different person. And I think sometimes we think it is, and it's not at all. It's about loving yourself today. And so I made a lot of decisions in my life and in my past based on some assumptions. I assumed that I was shy because somebody told me somewhere along the line I'm shy. If you were to say that about me now, I'd be like, no, I am not shy. Thank you. Do I like to keep to myself? Do I like to have a handful of close friends versus 1,000 close friends? Like, it's different. It's about understanding myself. Do I recharge my energy alone at home versus going to a party? Yes. But am I shy? No, I am not. And just because my report card said that I was a C student through much of school, okay, I was a C student pretty much till university, continued on to my first year of university, I acted in the assumption that I was a C student. But am I really a C student? No, I'm brilliant. I'm very smart, and I love to study, and I love to challenge my own beliefs about things. What about being sensitive? I've talked about this one before. I used to believe that I was sensitive in a bad way. I still believe I'm sensitive, but in such a good way. Manifestation is an emotional game. Manifestation is regulating your emotions. And how do you regulate your emotions? By knowing who you are and loving who you are. Because your emotions are impacted by how you see that, right? So if I don't think I'm good enough, if I don't think I have good things to say, if I think that I am less than other people, if I think that I'm stupid, if I think this, if I think that, it impacts how I feel every day. It impacts the way I walk around on this earth. The way I talk to people, the way I engage, the way I don't engage. So how are you the cause to your effect? Exactly in that way. Because what you believe about yourself is exactly how you express life. And is it really true? Is it really true? I would just ask yourself a lot of these questions. The other thing too with my body, and for a short time I wrote all those things out about, I'm 150 pounds and I wear, exercise clothes and I have a fit body and blah blah blah, all that crap. I wrote it out for a while and I was like trying to resonate with it, but it was like, come on, like, why do I need to get thin and healthy to be successful? Where did I hear that? Where did I hear that my body and the way that it looked means success or not? That you're a failure if you're not beautiful. You're a failure if you don't fit the mold. Somewhere along the line, I heard that. So then here I am trying to change my physical body to match a beauty ideal that really has nothing to do with anything. And so I remember the day when I crossed it all out and I wrote, I am beautiful now. I am successful in the body that I am in now. And I remember I used to cover up. So I have a very, very visible tattoo here on the front of my chest. It goes up over my shoulder and onto my back. I have a couple other visible tattoos. And I remember when I first launched my business, I was like, okay, well, maybe we'll just not make it so obvious. I wasn't trying to hide it, but it was like, we're just not going to make it as obvious, And I remember I got onto a Zoom training one day and there was about 400 other coaches on there. And it was a traditional environment, yet men were all wearing business suits on these calls and the women were looking really fancy. And I came on in a tank top and I was speaking. And I showed up in my tank top, tattoo very, very visible. And I did it very on purpose because I was like, no, I am proud of my body. I'm proud of, my larger sized arms and chest and my bigger boobs, my tattoo. I'm good. I'm here. I'm showing up. And I remember the guy that was interviewing me, he goes, what's that you have on your shoulder there? Is that like a shawl you have draped? And I go, no, that's my tattoo. And he was like, oh, okay. And I could tell like the thoughts in his mind were like, wow, this chick is just showing up here, like so confident, showing all parts of herself, just like unapologetic. And I think that's such a beautiful way of being because you're not hiding any parts of you that you think don't match up to something. You're fully expressing yourself, not this created version of yourself that's not really you. So that's why I think I don't resonate with the idea of act as if. I don't say that. You'll never hear me talk act as if. And the reason that I don't like that is because who are you acting like? If you're acting, you're not being yourself. So become the best of yourself by recognizing all the things about yourself that make you so unique, so powerful, so genuine, so authentic, so kind. And that's how you become magnetic. The people that are the most magnetic in this world are the ones that are fully self-expressive. Fully self-expressive. I'm just going to be myself today. What would that be like? Not acting as if, but just being myself. Expressing my full potential. And I don't believe that being yourself involves any self-hatred, derogatory language towards yourself. I don't believe that you judge yourself is normal. That's not being yourself. That's not just being me. The you that you were as a child, the one that was so acted in faith, that had so much fun, that was so inquisitive, that would fall down and get back up again, the one that would try new things, would play new games. I look at my kids now, my girls are 8 and 10, and Mason, it's so fun. She is just so interested in learning about things. She wants to cook, she wants to do makeup, she wants to color, she wants to do experiments. She wants. And I see that, I'm like, wow, she is right smack in the creative plane. Like she is wanting to try things, she's wanting to do things, and she wants to experiment, and she doesn't care if she makes a mess. She doesn't care how it tastes. She doesn't care what it looks like. It's the experience of creation that she's doing. So I see in her and I'm like, wow, when did we suppress that? When did we suppress this version of us that just wanted to go try things and do things and give it a go? So maybe that's going to be part of your homework. I don't know. Just be yourself today. Be yourself. Love yourself. And be your absolute best version. Christina, someone told me a few days ago, you've gained weight. I said, yep, and I love it. He was puzzled. Isn't that beautiful? I've been actually playing around with the word fat. Okay, so I haven't discussed this publicly, but I'm just going to tell you today. So the word fat has always pissed me off. It's been a bad word. We don't talk about it. We don't say it. It's nasty. And the reason why I have a reaction to it is because I got called it all my life. Nobody would say, oh, where's Kathleen? They would say, where's your fat friend? People would describe me, oh, who's Kathleen? Oh, she's the fat one. And so it was a bad word and I didn't want to use it and I hated it. And then recently I've been noticing in the body positivity space that curvier women are now starting to refer to themselves as fat. They say, I'm fat. I'm fat. I'm fat. Well, I don't think I am fat. I have fat. But is it a bad thing when someone wants to use the word? I don't know anymore. I don't know. It's almost like I'm starting to take the power back. So now when I say like, I'm big, I'm like, yeah, I'm big, I'm curvy, I'm fluffy, you know? And it's literally just changing the way that I feel about language. And it's not trying to make it right or anything like that. It's just, you know, it's just, let's change it. Let's switch it up. Let's say what feels good. I love curvy. I have a personal trainer now, which is super, super intriguing because it's my journey. It's me becoming who I truly want to be. And I want to be a woman that has strength and that her physical body lasts a long time. So for me, going to the gym and hiring a personal trainer was to look good. You know, he even talks about like, you know, 6-pack abs and stuff. I don't care about that. That's not what I'm here for. And so I was on the treadmill with him one day and we were doing a warm up and he said something I can't remember. And I just said to him, I just want to make it clear here that I don't want my curves to go away. Like I want my curves to stay. I want them to be here. I love them. And then he says, you know how many women would love the curves that you have? He goes, I'm trying to give them those curves in the gym. So it's just so interesting. And it's just a shift in perspective in how you see things. So all I'm trying to say is how can you step into yourself and love yourself? So can you imagine loving yourself, what that's going to do about your faith? The other thing that I just talked about. So when you love yourself, when you're proud of yourself, when you are like, oh yeah, I know who I am and I know what I like, I know what I don't like, I know what makes me happy, I know what pisses me off. When you're someone that knows yourself, then the moment that you feel like your faith is wavering, you go within. I have conversations with myself all the time. Not today, Kathleen. No. We're not thinking that, we're going to think this. And so the third thing that I wrote down this morning is emotional regulation. So faith, knowing yourself and appreciating yourself, and emotional regulation. And what I mean by emotional regulation isn't downplaying your emotions. It isn't trying to always change your emotions, but it's understanding that you are in control of them. It's you taking the ownership back. So many teachers of manifestation will teach you to be a vibrational match to your desires. Okay, be a vibrational match. So how you feel when you have the money, when you have the success, when you have the business, when you have the relationships, how do you feel then? What's the vibration that you're in then, and be that now today? Well, that involves that you know the emotion that you have right now. It means that you have to be aware of your emotional state and how it changes throughout the day. It means that you have to be okay with experiencing different emotions during the day, highs and lows, the law of rhythm. You're not going to be happy all day. It's impossible. It's not by law. You might get to a point where you're happy all the time, but you have different levels of happiness. So there's moments where you're like super grateful you could cry, and then there's other moments where your happiness is just like, yeah, I'm happy. It's just different. But to me, emotional regulation is understanding that you control your emotions, you regulate them, you change them, and you use them for good or for evil. Right? So I talked about this week. I think it was with my millionaire students, how sometimes I get mad. And getting mad isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's what you do with the feeling of anger. So if something's pissed me off and I'm mad and I'm like, oh, I use that energy for good. So I don't go and get angry at other people and express my anger and then go into my head and replay the thing that I'm mad about over and over and over again. And then I go and I spiral downward and sabotage. I go, all right, so I'm going to fuel this little feeling of anger, and I'm going to fuel it for good. I'm going to move the energy into my legacy. I'm going to move it into my business. I'm going to light my fire. I'm going to get even more inspired now because you pissed me off. Like, to me, that's beautiful. Like the guy who told me I couldn't, oh, you can't have the Range Rover Sport when I went to go to test drive. You can't have the Range Rover Sport. That's too expensive for you. That pissed me off. So I went and got a Range Rover Sport. I moved my business and grew my business enough to go get the Range Rover Sport. So this is what I mean by like, it doesn't have to always be positive emotions, but it's using the emotions for what you want to use them for. Anyways, I'd probably teach a whole course on this. But those are the three things that I think that are so important for you going into building a legacy that I think are absolutely necessary. Loving yourself, faith, and emotional regulation. Or you can call it emotional awareness. I like the word regulation. So sometimes I will say, oh, I just manipulated my energy. People are like, oh, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I learned how to hold an energy of joy longer so that I could bring more money into my life. Even me being here, this was very intentional emotionally. I knew the moment I got here at this ocean, my energy would be completely different. I knew that I would be able to talk to you guys in a completely different way here, being on this ocean. I stood outside here. When I got here that first night, it was pitch black, couldn't see a thing. And I just started crying. I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. This is the best, And I've talked to a couple people and they're like, wow, you're in a good mood. And I'm like, right? It was intentional. Very intentional. So yes, Kathleen, please do that course. You guys, I think I have 35 courses in me. Seriously. Even the stuff that we did this past week on upper limits and unconscious commitments, like I could teach that. That could have been a 6-week program, honestly. It's so good. But let's do some interviews now, because I want you guys to experience and to feel what it's like for other people as well, to tell their stories of how they've used faith, how they've started loving themselves, how they've built a legacy, how they've emotionally regulated to assist them. So you're going to get some messages from these people. You've gotten some things from me, but you're going to get some messages from these people. And I think we're going to do Tanya first, right? Is Tanya first? Did I say that right? I hope so. Let's see if I can find her here. Tanya. Oh, there you are. Okay, beautiful. Tanya, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I caught you off guard this morning.
You sure did.
Tanya wasn't going to be on, but we were going to have Jade on, and hopefully we will have Jade on again because Jade's story is so beautiful. But Jade couldn't come on. She had a little bit of a family emergency. So Tanya has said, yes, she will come on. And I just want to tell everybody why I asked you to come on, Tanya. There's this thing with Tanya that I resonate so much with, is that the focus on family and the focus on kids and your spouse and the family unit and creating a life that's really powerful and passionate for your family. And when I think about the legacy that you're building, I think about you, and I think about, what the work that you do here with us with Diamond Academy, but I also think about your husband and the business that you guys have there too. So I thought you would be a beautiful person to share a little bit. I hope that's okay.
Well, thank you very much. I feel honored. Thank you.
How long have you been in my energy for? How long have you been a part of Diamond Academy in one way or another?
Yeah, about a year and a half now, I've been part of your energy. I joined as a student a year and a half ago, and then I joined the team almost a year ago, actually. I can't believe it's coming up to a year.
Oh, we gotta celebrate.
We do have to celebrate. Yes,
Oh,
we will.
that's so beautiful. And why don't you, because I'm not going to remember now
Yeah,
where you were a year and a half ago when you joined us.
yeah,
I,
certainly.
I get this, Tanya, now.
Yeah. That's right. The new improved Tanya. Yeah. So where I was at, I mean, I always did personal development. I read all the books. I went to the conferences, and I was working in my corporate job that I had for 17 years, helping seniors transition out of their homes, which I love dearly. But I felt there was just more for me, and yeah, there's a faith sign behind me there. That's right. Yeah, so I was working in the corporate world for 17 years, and I have three daughters, or we have three daughters. And my husband was working his normal job as well. And then COVID hit, and we were both forced to be home together. And not forced, well, yeah, we were forced, I guess, to be home together. And we were both finding ourselves just at a point in our life that we weren't happy with our careers anymore. We weren't fulfilled. I had a burning desire for a long time that there was something else more for me. And I had a lot of worry and fear and doubt what was going on with our finances, living paycheck to paycheck. And our relationship wasn't the greatest. Now that we look back, it's funny, we joked this morning. We're like, we never really loved each other back then, did we? And we can say that in a way that, because we understand what love is now. But yeah, we were just, going with the motions, raising our family, living paycheck to paycheck. And then I came across this beautiful woman here and her program. And I went to a few of her free workshops, and then I jumped in. I jumped all in.
Yeah, I remember that. And I think you originally chatted with Darcy, was it right?
Yeah, I did.
Am I
Yeah.
remembering correctly? Yeah. Oh my gosh, Darcy, miss her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I find that the journey is different for everyone,
Yeah.
and nobody's journey will be exactly the same. And so for me, it took me a few weeks to decide to invest in myself. The first course that I took that wasn't a university degree or like certification of some kind, the first personal growth and development program, it took me a few weeks to do it, to figure out how am I going to get the money, and is my spouse going to be okay with it, and do I have the time to do it, and yada yada. But once I jumped in, I was all in. Like it took me a little bit longer, but then I was all in. So did it take you a little bit longer or no?
Yeah. So, well, actually, what's funny is my husband was investing in himself at the same time. So he had hired a real estate coach. So
Oh,
just to let you know, he worked in the trades for years, and he totally flipped his world upside down and started to invest in real estate.
mm,
And he had hired a coach at the same time. So spent all this money on this coach. And then I came across, I was almost like a little bit, I don't know, like he was growing, and I felt there was something else. And I was like, no, I want to do something. So it took me a little while because I thought, wow, he just forked out a bunch of money. And then I found you, and I went to him and I said, I think this is what I want. I want to do this. And he's like, are you sure, Tanya? Like I fully support you, but you need to go all in. You've tried these programs before. And I said, no, there's something in it. I know, I feel the energy in this amazing community. So it was more me actually that took a while because of my money, my old money story and stuff like that.
yeah.
But
And didn't your husband take wealth from within too?
yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he
he
did.
came on board as well and took wealth from within with us as well.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love, and then your mom is in the Millionaire
Yeah.
Program.
And then my mom, a year after I was in this material, she always kind of wondered, like, what are you studying? What is it? You're always on Zooms. What are you doing? You're up early in the morning studying. And, I explained a little bit what I did. And then she came on a few free trainings, and she said, I think I'm ready. I said, what do you mean you're ready? I'm ready to join. I'm like, okay, let's do it. So
Oh, I
she's been in
love
coming
that.
up 6 months now.
Oh, I love that. And she was in Miami as well.
Yeah, and she came to Miami with us as well.
She's a
So
fashionista.
she is. That's right.
I loved her style. That was so
She
fun.
might be on here actually.
Oh, good. Well, if you're on, hello. Yeah, it's so interesting. I love that. There's this ripple, right? As you start to expand and grow, people are like, "What are you doing?" You know, I had somebody message me and they're like, "Okay, Kathleen, what drugs are you giving these people?"
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I'm not giving them drugs. I'm teaching them how to like actually love themselves
Yeah.
and like step into their great potential. And like it's the most inspiring thing. But anyways, but what I would love to know, and
Mhm.
what people are going to be asking is like, what's different about you now? What's different about your life now? And what are some of your plans for the future for your family?
Yeah, yeah. Well, first of all, I mean, we've totally changed our lives. Ben and I left the corporate world or both of our jobs back a year ago. So we're coming up to a year anniversary. I just said that we both left a paycheck, benefits, salaries, like all that stuff, with complete utter faith. Like he even said to me, well, you're thinking about leaving your job. I have to leave mine first. So we both left the working world at the same time to build our business. So we have investment properties. We went from owning our home to now 15 properties at the end of this year, investment properties. And then I'm doing my coaching as well. I get to change people's lives in Kathleen's beautiful community, Diamond Academy, and speak to people all over the world. So what really happened is we went inside and started studying ourselves and fell in love with ourselves and our true desires, right? And then we had to do that as individuals. And now we can come together as one. And it's so powerful. Like I said, we have fallen in love with each other over again. Like we've been married for 15 years and it just keeps getting better.
Um,
We're doing things that we've never done before together. We're saying yes to things. We just ran up a mountain hill together. We did our first Spartan race together, just things like that. It's exciting. And we have 3 beautiful daughters that we're sharing as well. And we are so proud of them. They're
aw.
13 and 10 and 13. We have twins. And just teaching them every day, like you said, like our 10-year-old just wants to learn so much. And, she talks all about manifestation. It's really helping them shine from the inside out too. So,
Yeah, I love that so much. And I notice so many things with my girls.
mhm.
I just notice the way that they respond differently, the way they feel is different.
Yeah.
It's really, really beautiful. Um, Somebody said that their face hurts from smiling so much. I have to tell you that after these events, okay, I love these events. They are I look forward to them every single month. I love coming on and teaching like this. But one thing I do notice too, Haley, is like when we're done at the end of the 2 hours, I almost have to like
Yeah.
because I've just been smiling so much, which is great. And it's also like that thing too with laughter. Like I laugh so much in my life now. And sometimes it's like, oh, my abs hurt because I'm laughing so hard.
Yeah.
Like that's how much we should be laughing.
That's right.
We should
Yeah.
be smiling so much that our faces don't hurt because it's the natural state.
Yeah.
The reason our faces hurt a little bit is because it's not natural for us to be smiling that much. Like we don't experience it as much. But let's make a pact together that we're going to experience it that way.
Yeah.
Um,
I love that.
so Tanya, tell me, what do you think the impact on you and your hubby studying yourselves? Because you said he hired a coach as well. He's
Mhm.
taken some programs here, but what do you think that the impact you and your husband studying yourselves is going to have generationally? Like,
Oh, yeah.
what is that ripple going to be?
Oh, it's going to be huge. We have so many ideas already. Like, first of all, our girls, right? Like our girls they're seeing they're seeing life a different way than we did, right? Like what businesses can we start or who can we help? And they serve in our community too, right? So it's the ripple effect. And you hear them talk to their friends and also too, like we want to sponsor, like we have a sister-in-law that is a missionary over in Africa. We want to help with that. And it doesn't begin with that. It begins with our grandparents. Like my grandmother and my grandfather just passed away in the last year. And when you were saying that, like they helped us with this journey. They were both, my grandfather was an entrepreneur back in the day. And so he started this for us, right? And we have been called to do this as well. So we went with it. So I just see we took the courage to do it. So I see our girls stepping out and doing that. We see education in a different way. Education is
Totally,
so
totally, me
important,
too. Yeah,
so
me too.
important, but there's another way. Like our kids don't have to do that way, right? So yeah, I just see it evolving so much. We have people in our community reaching out to us. It's just beautiful. The people we're meeting and the experiences we're having is huge.
Oh,
So I just keep,
it's so
the
beautiful.
ripple effect's going to keep going.
Yeah, it just keeps going. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. Thanks for coming on and sharing. I know it was
Oh, I
last
appreciate
minute.
you. Thank you, Kathleen.
You know, we always pivot no matter what happens with Diamond Academy and what happens with our businesses and our life. We always just pivot. That's it. And we've had a lot of pivoting this year, but it's so beautiful. It's brought us all closer together. I appreciate you, Tanya. I appreciate everything you do for our community,
Thank
for
you.
our clients, for Diamond Academy. We're just so
Yeah.
blessed to have you. Appreciate
you.
you so much. Okay, so let's bring on Samantha. So Samantha Lockwood, if you are here, I think they're going to bring you up. They're going to spotlight you. Are you here? Yay! How are you?
I'm fabulous.
So tell me where you are. Where in the world are you?
I'm in the UK. I'm in the bottom. I'm on the beach in the UK, in England, in Bournemouth.
Oh, beautiful. So what's the weather like for you over there right now?
Cold and crisp. The air is very clear, but there's lots of seagulls.
Cold and crisp.
Cold and crisp.
That's actually like a really nice word to describe crisp. I posted, before I came to Malibu, I posted a video of me walking on my stories, and we had snow on the ground. And so as I walked, you could hear the crunch. And I normally play music over me walking, but this time I didn't. I'm like, no, I want you guys to feel the crunch so you could actually feel how cold it was. So when you said crisp, I got it right away. It was like, yep, I get that. Crisp is like, I need a sweater. Chris also sent me a picture of the snow at home, and his car had probably like, this much snow on it. So I'm going back to a lot of cold. So right now I am in absolute gratitude. I have the sun taking me over right now on my face. I keep moving.
Yeah, mine's setting.
Yours is setting. Like, I love that. I love this so much, how we can be with one another all over the world in completely different time zones. Sometimes when we have people from Australia on, it's a completely different day when we're talking. So Samantha, how long have you been in our community for? It's been a while, eh?
I'm paid since March.
Okay.
Unpaid, I think I was on your free event last November, or you probably did it beginning of December, Reflect. We did that with Angie.
Yeah.
But the first time was the interview with Bob.
Oh, was it the paradigm shift interview as well?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yes.
So that was 2 years ago.
Yep.
Or more. Wow. Okay. And so it took you a little while to join a course or a program, like the formality of it. And why do you think that was?
Well, I think I did. So I did TIR in the January of 2021. And then I did that for 6 months, and that was great. I learned some great stuff. Yep. Met you, went into the PGI, and signed up to be a consultant, and then completely froze it. Yeah. And then I was thinking at the end of the year, I wanted a mentor, and I was looking for somebody, and I didn't know who to go to. I was looking at 3 different women, and I was seeing how they made me feel. And it was your energy that I wanted to be in.
Oh.
So I chose you, but didn't have the money.
Yes. Well, the money always comes when you make a decision.
Exactly. So I had to make the decision first.
But I love how you actually used the way that you feel as a way to trust the decision you were going to make, because not a lot of people have that awareness to notice their feelings around something and the energy that they're in. So sometimes you go into the intellectual mind and you're like, well, this one says this thing, and this one does this, and this one costs this much, and this one. But to trust the feeling that you had and your intuition, I think is really powerful and a really good representation of the work that you'd already done before you came here, right? Beautiful. So tell me what the experience working with us has been, and what have been some changes in you that you've experienced?
I think the community is something I was looking for. I found that I didn't have that before. So the community was very supportive. I feel that once I realized you say things like, I just do what you say, basically. You say, I'm going to pull you out of you. And I'm like, yeah, she's going to do that. So you say, listen to the words that people use, listen to the language, listen to the feeling. And I was listening to, I've been on every call. You then said at the beginning, you have to show up, have your camera on, which I did, but I'd never share, I'd never express. Yeah. So I was just learning I've just learned about me the whole time. Your academy, your team has changed so many lives, and I think it's just a perfect place to be, to learn who you are.
Yeah. I think it's so interesting. And this is why we've created what we have created here in the way that we have, is that it's not just about one specific person teaching information. It's about a community and an experience of embodiment. And that embodiment means so much to me. I never forget that day, Samantha, I was at Bob's studio and I said to him, Bob, why me? Like, why was I able to change my world so quickly, so drastically, so dramatically that people almost don't believe me? Like, why? And he said, Kathleen, you internalized it. And it took me a little bit to really understand what he meant by internalize. So that's why I use the word embody, because to me, it's like, I live this. I live and I breathe this material and this content. And I know everybody on my team is the exact same way. We now talk about it.
Thinking about those words that you used, to you, the internalized is like a masculine word. It feels so much nicer. And that's where I've really learned about the words and the language and me. It's really about how it's the meaning that you give everything all the time.
Always. Yes. And I think some people want to know, well, which word should I use?
What one feels good to you?
That's the biggest thing. So, another one, like, I originally taught that fear was a terror barrier. And so it was like, you're going to face fear in your life and it's going to be like a barrier that you're going to want to overcome and go through. To me, it felt really hard. So as I grew and I just trusted myself, I was like, well, what feels better than terror barrier? Getting uncomfortable. So now I call it like discomfort or uncomfortable, because then it's not psychologically, I'm not overcoming a major barrier to my success in life, right? So
yeah,
that's one of the things that I think is really beautiful about what we do and the way we do it, is that I don't want people to believe what I believe. I want people to create their own composite of beliefs, right? Yeah. Oh my God. So people are saying such nice things about you in the chat. I know it's so hard to hard to read it while talking.
Can't read it.
Yeah. So where are you at now in your life, in who you see yourself as, and a legacy that you're creating? I'd love to hear that.
So I came here to learn about me. When you literally have talked today, I'm like, everything that you've said, I'm like, I've done that. It's the faith. I was looking at you've got the tattoo on your arm, and I was reading God Works Through Faith this week, because I was noticing something within me that's stopping me from going to my upper limit. And it was about that bridge, like faith is that bridge between 3D and spirituality. I was like, oh my God, I get that now. So now I know who I am. I know the ripple effect that I leave everywhere I go. The more that I teach this stuff, the more I believe it, and the more I'm becoming it. Not becoming it, but it's like it embodies even more. It like ripples through you. I literally am teaching my daughter how to do it, step-by-step process, and changing decisions in the world. Yeah, that's been amazing. So now how can I put this? When I joined, you had the certification for the coaches. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do that yet. I've just signed up to PGR and I didn't want to do that, and I don't want to do this. I want something else. And I was waiting and I kept manifesting. So I manifested the modern mentor. And I was like, that's exactly what I want. Don't have the money. It will come. But the decision was made. So I think that's literally cemented everything that you learn in Millionaire.
Yeah.
I've learned the manifestation side. It's like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. The dominant feeling lesson to me was the one that was like, I know I'm a feeling queen. I feel everything. And I've always felt the bad. So to feel the good was like, yes. But knowing that something knocks me off, whether that's a word, somebody pulling out in the car, or all these little things, they were knocking me off. So I was learning more about me. So now I'm ready. There's a little gap, but I am ready to go out and launch myself into the world.
Oh, and this is what I love about the Modern Mentor program now, because we've actually created the perfect vessel and vehicle for you to now do the personal growth and development work, now have the understandings of how to have a coaching business, how to be a mentor, how to expand into that space, and then now it's time to launch. And this is so important because the launching part is where if you don't have that faith, you either won't launch or you'll launch very quietly. Or I know Ashley is on here yesterday. She said she keeps launching herself, but then she pulls back. So now it's about helping you to launch and fully express and step into who Samantha really is, has always been, and do that in an action of pure faith. So I think this faith now, give yourself 30 days studying faith.
Mm-hmm.
And
you said that a couple of days ago, a couple of weeks ago, so I have been. That's
good.
what I've been doing.
Beautiful.
But I've also noticed that the things that are coming up in my life now are what I've asked for. So I was asking for somebody to naturally, come to me. I've had a call with her. She's got a team of 30 people. We're working out what I can do with them. So
perfect.
Sometimes it doesn't just have to be launching a course and a program and a live event. I'm listening to what's happening and changing with that. So I just find it's all very exciting.
One thing always leads to the next thing. So if you're never doing things, if you're never expressing, if you're never taking action, then you're not opening all the doors. I see it as like a door opens a door, opens a door, opens a door. And so somebody asks you to hop onto a Zoom, they want to network, do it. Okay, let's go. Yeah. Let's see how it is. Somebody has a team for you to do something in front of 30 people. It's amazing.
I know.
Yeah, it's so good. We always get what we ask for, always. It's just, do we pay attention? Do we notice? And are we asking for the right things? And the right things are what you want. Like, nobody can tell you what's right or what you should want, what you should be, right? So it's beautiful. No. Well, I'm so happy that you are really just stepping into yourself and the best of yourself and just becoming just so inspiring to others, because this legacy, this ripple that you're creating is so beautiful. So what's the legacy that you want to leave behind? What's one thing that you want to leave behind when you're not on this physical plane anymore?
Then I want people, people, not just children. I want people to know that if something's not showing up in the right way in your life, just change it. Yeah, that's it.
That's beautiful.
You don't have to, like you say, you used to believe that life was happening to you. I was the same. It was always going wrong. So why can't I just change it to everything going right? Well, I can, because I'm in control of everything. And now that's rippling into my 18-year-old nieces, my daughter who's 13, like everybody around me. So just giving them the power that, you know what, believe in yourself, because why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I love that. I think that what we do and what I used to do in the past was keep myself in a state of suffering. And so what I mean by that is I want something to be a certain way. I don't believe it ever can be, so that I'm going to suffer in this state right now of something in my life is missing. And, what if nothing is missing? What if everything is right and everything is perfect? And what if that thing that you desire isn't something to be displeased with that you don't have it, but just stay in the energy of, I would love it. And when it comes, amazing, but so much it's that creation of suffering that I think we don't help ourselves with. So
I think sometimes society just makes, you have to do things that way because society says you have to do it that way. Well, says who? What would you love? And let your words just ripple everywhere. So I think that's it. What would you love? And who says? All the time. Well, you've got to put a hat on. Who says? I took my daughter for a drive in a boat. Somebody says she hasn't got a safety thing on. So what? She can swim. It's not a problem. Stop putting things in the way.
We don't always have to follow the rules.
No, definitely not. I don't know.
Who created the rules anyway? Where did they come from anyway? That's what I always say. Who invented that? I don't know. I don't know if I believe that.
Shake it up.
Yeah. So beautiful. Well, I appreciate you coming on and sharing with us today. I'm so grateful to hear your story and know a little bit more about you. I didn't know some of that stuff. So that's really, really good. And we're here to support you as you launch. So I look forward to seeing you fully express as you launch your business and do so in faith, in absolute faith.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you, Samantha. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you too.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so what I would love to do is I asked Samantha that question for a reason at the end. What is the legacy that you want to create? Because I think we create goals, we create visions, we create end results. We talk about the business we would love, the house that we would love, the type of things that we want to do with our families, the vacations that we want to go on. But I think where we can go a little bit further is actually answer that question, what legacy do I want to leave behind? And so for the next 10 minutes, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. And in these 10 minutes, we're going to play a little bit of music. I'll keep my mic on so that I can talk to you guys while I do it. But I want you to just sit free form right now. And why I chose for us to do it right now instead of us homework is because we right now are all vibrating and are an energetic match to one another. So the collective consciousness of all of us on this call right now is really powerful. We're inspired, we are lit up, we are in a state of flow. We are thinking differently than you will be thinking 2 hours from now. So 3 hours from now, 4 hours from now. So when you get off of this Zoom, you go and you make dinner, you get on another Zoom call, you deal with kids that are refusing to get dressed, like, I don't know, whatever it is. And yeah, Jessica's nodding. I'm like, yeah, I know. So I want us to answer this now, because if all things are possible, which they are, right? What is the legacy that I want to leave behind in this world? It can be through whatever means you want to do, whatever comes to your mind. Jen, if you can play that music for us, or Casey, I can't remember which one of you was going to do that. And then I have a second question, but I'm going to ask it in a few minutes. I'm not going to ask it right now. Okay, so what is the legacy that I want to leave behind? Okay, now I want you to go a little bit further and I want you to answer the question. Why am I not expressing this legacy now? And if your answer is I am, then I want you to ask, how could I express it more? my gosh, these are so good. These are brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So what I love so much about what you guys are writing is the first thing that we're really doing here with identifying what is the legacy that we want to leave behind. We're actually lighting a fire in ourselves. If you actually don't desire something, you will not move yourself into the attainment of it. It's the number one thing. If it is lacking, why even start? But if you desire something and if you allow yourself to be courageous enough to desire it, then that is a very powerful place to be in. And when you want something and you go after it, there is so much power in that. I am a woman that goes after what I want. Okay. And I have not always been that way. I have been a woman who would maybe do what I thought other people think I should want, become a nurse, get a job, blah, blah, blah. But now I'm a woman that goes after what she wants. If I want something, I set it as a goal for myself. It's like, I'm going to have that. I'm going to create that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And so I am okay with building a desire now. And, you know, even building a desire to me comes from, if you don't, it's so based in insecurity. You don't even want it because you don't want to let yourself down, because you already believe you're going to let yourself down. So you don't even allow yourself to want something. So this little activity right now of us, what is the legacy that I want to leave behind? It allows you to come up out of your personal mind, stop making it about you. Let's make it about other people now, and let's build a desire for it. And a lot of these things that you guys are writing down are ways in which you want to become better so that you can help other people to become better. It's really, really beautiful. But in the attainment of this, though, I also want you to connect to the desire within yourself for wanting a great life while you're here. So this isn't about sacrificing our experience on earth to build a legacy. This is about building a legacy while experiencing a great life while we are in these physical bodies. So for me, it's little things like being in joy and gratitude every day during the process. It's about having a team around me that inspires me. Like, I don't want to always be inspiring people. I want people around that inspire me as well. It's about my physical environment. Where do I feel called to be right now, and how can I get myself there? It's about experiencing things in a really, really beautiful way. I sent a message to my team yesterday, I think it was, just to let them know how inspired I am and how grateful I am for all of them and what we're doing here. And I let them know. I had a conversation with somebody at breakfast, I think it was a couple of days ago. And, you know, I hear a lot that I inspire you. You know, people say, Kathleen, you're an inspiration. You really inspire me. And I don't take it for granted. And I'm honored to be able to be in a place where someone feels inspired by something that I do. Like, that's really beautiful. And I'm so honored to take that place. But I also don't want to just inspire you. I don't want you to be like, oh, I'm inspired, and then forget about the inspired feeling a couple hours later and then go back to your day-to-day life. I want you to be so inspired that you take action. I want you to be inspired enough to build a legacy. And so I think that's my legacy, is to help all of you to build yours. And I think, how can I help you in that? By being the best of myself. And I think for me too, it's about identifying, you know, the fact that when somebody comes to me and they want help and they want to be supported and they want to create their legacy, I think I need to hold strong in that and tell you, well, then you need to go and do that. And I'm going to be the one that's going to hold you to it. And even when you say, well, not today, Kathleen, maybe tomorrow, this is where I need to say, why tomorrow? You know, what if tomorrow doesn't come for you? You know, today is the present moment. Today is the time. So I've just been like really, really evaluating that and thinking about how can I help more people. And the part that I want to be able to help you more with is in the taking action piece, in the actual pursuit of it, not just
a figure that inspires, but one that inspires you to then take action to create more change. So that's something I'm working on with myself. And I sent that message to the team because I think it's so important that we all really, really are on the same page on what we are really doing here. I don't just want you to feel good for a little while. I want you to feel so good, to be so inspired that you go and you pass that on and you help others. And so for me, that to me is my legacy. The reason I asked the second question about why am I not doing it? Or why am I not expressing it? Like, what is it that I'm keeping myself from expressing? And the reason I asked that is because in order for you to create a new life for yourself, a new experience for yourself, for your family, for your kids, for your grandkids, whatever else, in order for you to create the legacy that you want, it involves that you be different than you were yesterday. So if you want to experience a new life and you want something new to happen in your world, you need to be different. You know, Michael Beckwith, he says you will never become what you aren't willing to first become vibrationally. And what he means by that is that you hold a vibration every single day. It's your point of attraction. It's your dominant feeling. And it is very heavily rooted in the way you see yourself, the beliefs that you hold about yourself, your worthiness, your emotional state regarding how good you think you are or how bad you think you are, how powerful you think you are, how weak you think you are, all these things. And so you have a dominant feeling, you have a vibration that every single day you send out, and then you receive back based on that, and then you behave based on that. And so what Michael Beckwith is actually saying is that you need to start vibrating differently. And not just temporarily, but permanently, your dominant feeling. Become a vibrational match. So that second question allows you then to reveal some of the things that have you vibrating in a way that isn't necessarily in alignment with the legacy you want to build. So it's like, I want to build this legacy. I want to help people with this. I want to help people with that. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then these are all the ways in which I'm not matching that. So that's the just small little exercise that I did today. Because this legacy you want to build, that's what you need to vibrationally match to. So when you think about your legacies fulfilled, maybe you're 80 years old and you're sitting in the rocking chair and you're looking back on your life. My rocking chair will be on the ocean. But you're sitting on your rocking chair and you're looking back on your life, and when you're looking back on your legacy, what are the things that you say about yourself? And so to me, you say the opposite of what you just wrote down. So she had courage, she had absolute faith, she had confidence in herself, she believed and she never gave up, etc., 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 etc. So these are all the things, like those things you wrote down of how, like, why am I not expressing my legacy today, or how could I express it more? That's the vibrational match right there. That's what you can start vibrating at to make the change. So now you have a list of things that you can start to work on. But we are going to, tomorrow, we're going to do another little session of writing where we're actually even going to go further. But I don't want to go further today because I want you to do homework. I really want you, how are we doing for time? Okay, this is perfect timing. What I really, really want you guys to do for the homework tonight is to build the desire for this legacy even more than you have right now. So how I came across this exercise and how this came to be is a fun little story, because I took myself along a little journey. So Kaylee is a beautiful, beautiful woman, and she takes care of my beautiful hair for me and makes it look so amazing and so stunning. And her and I have developed a really strong friendship and connection, and we have a lot of things in common, but we help each other, which is really beautiful. And she decided that she was going to create a reel, and the reel was going to be about the legacy event. She really wanted to use video to you know, see if anybody would be interested in coming to this live event. She's really passionate about this idea of legacy. And so she did a reel using a beautiful song that I did play at the beginning today. And it was a reel of her with her daughter, her legacy. And there was videos of her pushing her daughter in the swing, and a video of her daughter firstborn on her chest, where she was all teary-eyed. And when I watched this reel that she created about like, what legacy are you building? And the music that was playing too, it got me so emotional. And I was like, wow, I really connected to that. Like, I connected with that wholeheartedly. It made me build the desire to have a legacy even more. I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, let's go. Let's do this. Like, let's go. Like, that's exactly how I felt. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to create that reel. So I took her reel, I saved the sound, and I took what she did, and I couldn't do it exactly because hers was all video and my girls are a little bit older, so I don't have many videos of them as babies. I have pictures like crazy. So I created the reel. I used the same song and I posted pictures of my girls. I posted pictures of myself with my girls, and I did the reel about my legacy. But during the process of creating that reel, and I don't always love to do these things, but I was like, I'm going to do it. I was going through all my old photos and I was hearting them, and I was watching old videos, and even the girls came over and I sent them videos to watch of themselves when they were kids, when they were like 5 years old. And so I was looking through all my photos. I got so emotional, and that act of creating that reel grew my desire for this legacy far more. And then when I posted the video, I just felt so honored to post it, and it was so beautiful and I loved it. So you can find the reel on my Instagram if you want. I posted it in my stories yesterday as well, but I want you guys to create this reel for you. And so if you are not comfortable with video or reels or TikToks or whatever else, reach out to anybody at Dime Academy and we will help you. But there is, if you go into reels, you can save the audio right from mine. Any of our team members have made this as well. So if you do have, every single one of you has a success advisor with us, one of my coaches that has been assigned to help you through this training. So if you don't know who that is, just put me in the chat and we will get you connected. But they also have made these reels and posted them, so you can get the inspiration there. Just put me in the chat, yep, and we will make sure that you are connected. So don't log off until we get you connected, okay? But they'll be able to help you. Casey also posted in the chat here a link for the reel. So there is a template where you just choose, I think it's 6 videos, and you can choose it in that way too. So just give us a couple of minutes. But basically what I would like you guys to do is to create this reel, use the music, use photos or videos, post it to your social and tag me so I can see it. I want to see all these legacies, because if my legacy is to help all of you build your legacies, can you imagine what watching all these legacy reels is going to do for me? It is going to fill my soul. It's going to fill my heart. It's going to grow my faith. It's going to grow my belief. It is going to help me to be stronger, to be able to help you guys with all of this. So tag me. You can also use the hashtag legacy with Kathleen Cameron, but just tagging me is fine too, whatever works for you. And if you can get it done by the time we come back tomorrow morning, that would be super helpful. It took me about an hour to do it, but I had a lot of photos to go through, and then I started sending pictures to people and I started watching more things and yada, yada, yada. Okay, so Jen has posted. There's my reel. So there's a link to my reel. And then there's a template to create that reel for yourself in the chat here. We will also post all of this in the Manifested with Kathleen Cameron Facebook group. Okay, so in that Facebook group, we'll be able to help you. But check your emails as well. Okay, good. You guys are figuring out who's assigned to who, so they can help you. I am so grateful for all of you guys for coming on here today and talking about legacy. And I just think about how powerful this is going to be. All of us now moving towards the idea, the new intellectual idea of building a legacy for years to come is going to be really, really, really powerful. So if you need us, you know where to find us, the Manifested with Kathleen Cameron Facebook group. You can message me if you need to, no problem. I'll make sure that either myself or somebody from the team is watching my inbox, and we will provide you with the support. If this is not something that you're comfortable with, creating a reel like this is so good for you. Like, you are stepping into, like, video is the way the world is going. Post in the legacy group or manifested. You can post it wherever you want. We do want you to post it though, like post it to your reels, like a reel. And then if you tag me, I'll see it. If you want to post it in the Facebook group, that would be super fun too as well, Ashley, because then other people can see it. And then if you do use the hashtag legacy with Kathleen Cameron, when you search that hashtag, you'll be able to see everybody else's legacy reels. Yes, hurry up and get uncomfortable so you can help others. I love that, Haley. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm gonna end it there today. We're gonna stay here. We're gonna play a music. We're gonna stay together. We're gonna make sure that we have all of you connected to your success advisors. We're gonna leave these links coming up into the chat for you. So don't worry, we're not going anywhere for like another 10 minutes. We're gonna play a song and we're gonna end in a beautiful energy together today. The song that I chose for us to listen to is a song that means a lot to me. And I want to remind you all that the legacy that came through you today, what you wrote down when you were journaling, what you put in the chat, that legacy is coming through you. Okay? It is not from you, it is through you. And it is coming from spirit, from God, from creator, from source, from universe, whatever it is that you want. It is you doing God's work. So everything that I have created in my life, this business, this company, the house that I have, the car that I drive, the children that I have, they were not created by me, they were created through me. And that has really helped me. And so what I'm talking about is my oneness with spirit. So when I have an intuitive thought, that's spirit. When I have a nudge and a feeling that I should do something, that's spirit. When I have a knowingness of what I am about to do, that's from spirit. So we're going to listen and stay on and listen to Spirit by Beyonce, which is one of my all-time favorite songs. It really, really helps me to feel my oneness. Listen to the words when you're here. Stay on with us. And then as soon as the song is done, then you're free to go. You're free to go anytime, but stay in the energy with us because I want you to take this feeling with you as you go into your day today. Okay. I appreciate you all so much. Can't wait to see the reels. This is going to be good. This is going to be fun. We're going to be busy making reels today. I can feel it. Okay.